It is Friday, December 18th, 2020. I'm Pastor Thor Ramsey with Center Church. This is Gospel for Five, where we take 5 minutes out of our day and focus on the gospel. And the one who saved our soul, Jesus, is the gospel. Hey, tomorrow's our Christmas party. Just a reminder, at the Low Family Residence. So you should have gotten a newsletter with that, their address and everything. So I just wanted to send you out a reminder for that. I'd love you all to join us there. It'll be just a fun time. All right, so here we are, picking up again in verse, we ended at verse 17, picking up in verse 18. They make much of you, but for no good purpose. They want to shut you out, that you may make much of them. Verse 18, it is always good to be made much of for a good purpose. That's an interesting statement. So it's always good to be made much of if there's a purpose behind it that's good, that's going to glorify God and further the gospel, I suppose. Unfortunately, that seems to be the motive many people take. They take it with a wrong motive here, though. Paul takes it as your primary motive is to do good for the sake of Jesus and the gospel, but within evangelicalism, a slight criticism, if I may propose a slight criticism, is this attitude that says, make me great, God, that people will see you in the gospel, but it's really about what? Make me great. You know, it's kind of a narcissistic type of Christianity, but it's out there. I think a lot of it's out there, but it is that. And especially when we're young, we have that kind of mentality. Make me great, God, that you might get some glory out of it. Glorify me, God, that I can point back to you, type of thing. Now, of course, the Apostle Paul, a man of motives like no one else on the face of the earth, a man whose entire life was lived in a way just for the sake of the gospel and for others. So he can say it's always good to be made much of for a good purpose. And he can do it with the right motives. Now, I would say in some cases people have the motive of truly glorifying God, but for most of us, let's be honest, that's not the case. If we're talking about greatness and success, we usually think, why do we want those things for ourselves? For self-affirmation, for our own self, for our own comfort, etc. My little children, for whom I am, now here's Paul's heart. Listen to Paul's heart. This is so convicting, to me at least. He calls them my little children, for whom I am again in the anguish of childbirth, until Christ is formed in you. So this is Paul's heart. And if it's Paul's heart, it's the heart of Christ. Now that's the encouraging part. The convicting part is seeing Paul as an example and seeing how far we fall short of his heart for people. Because most of us do not have this heart for people. In one sense, verse 19 is Paul saying, I'm not giving up on you ever. I know that you're a true Christian. I know that Christ is going to be formed in you. He's reminding them of who they are in Christ. They've forgotten who they are in Christ. That's why they've added to the gospel. But here he is. He is in anguish over it, like he's giving birth. Now, he's a man, of course. Has he ever experienced childbirth? No. But again, just on the grounds of human empathy, we understand pain. We understand something that is incredibly painful. And he's comparing both his ministry to them before they became Christians and now after they're Christians, both these segments of their lives. He's comparing it to the pain of actually going through childbirth. That's his desire. He labored over them. He was anguishing over their souls before they came to Christ, and then he saw them come to Christ, and it's like the pain you go through in childbirth, and then you have this wonderful child in your arms, and then after that, the growth of the child. Here we find ourselves in a spot too, where he's going through these same types of emotional pains, this emotional anguish for the sake of their souls. He's not giving up on them, whereas most of us right? Do we wash our hands of people pretty quickly? A lot of times, like, look, I've had enough of you. I'm going to wash my hands of you. Now, in some cases, we have to do that. He's talking here, though, about he's not giving up on a Christian. He's not giving up on the person that he knows Christ. He's just reminding them of who they are, and he's in anguish that they've forgotten who they are because it's taking away their blessedness. It's diminishing their experience of the grace of God. But if that's the heart of Paul, it is certainly the heart of Jesus Christ, who will not give up on his own. That's why he says, I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. I will not give up on you, even as you give up on yourself. Now, what has God said to you today? And what are you going to do about it?